Hello Libra, and welcome to your reading for February the 3rd through the 9th. What wonderful gifts, guidance, blessings and helpful information can you give Libra through these cards for February the 3rd through the 9th? I have shuffled these off screen and just doing it one last time for your benefit. Oh guys, this is a general reading. It's for your sun, moon and rising. So take what resonates, leave the rest. And if you'd like a personal reading, please click on this link here, which will take you to my website, and you can peruse the kind of readings I offer. This is for Libra. Three cards for Libra, please. One, two. One more card for Libra, please. Well, oh, 3, 4. You got 4 cards. All righty then. Okay, there's definite crossover here, guys. So please check out your sun, moon, and rising in the Show More section below, or February playlist, because I'll put them all in there too. All the readings. Okay, so these are your clarifying cards. What wonderful gifts, guidance, blessings and helpful information can you give Libra through these clarifying cards for February the 3rd through the 9th? Please clarify. There you go. Please clarify the there it is. Please clarify the... Oh, that nearly went on the floor. Oh, brilliant. Okay. Let's take a look at your cards. Libra. Okay, the first card out for you is the 5 of Swords, clarified by the 6 of Wands. Then you have the Magician, clarified by the Strength card. And then you have the 3 of Swords right next to the 4 of Swords, clarified by the Hierophant. Okay, Libra, the first card out for you is the 5 of Swords. So the 5 of Swords is about arguing. It's about being in an argument that can't be won. This is about recognizing your limitations. It's like understanding you can't really argue about politics or religion. They're hot button topics, right? So we have to avoid hot button topics. And this is because this is the kind of argument that can't be won, and it's one that you win through like insulting someone personally, or being derogatory or condescending, insulting them in some way. And the problem is, even if you win this argument, right, it's temporary, because then you end up alone. And you've lost the people that you've argued with. And they may have been good friends. So this is about really resisting the urge to react and to engage in controversial subjects. It's like resist the urge to, comment on Facebook, that kind of thing, or some other social media platform. It's about, not engaging in controversial subjects. And clarifying that is the 6 of Wands. Sometimes backing out from an argument or an altercation, you may feel defeated, right? Or you think it's almost like your ego wants to win, right? But if you don't allow your ego to come out, then you'll get accolades for handling it in a diplomatic way or backing out. So you may initially feel like the loser, but you're actually the winner if you don't engage in this negative behavior, because it's like people will say, yeah, wow, they handled that really well. I mean, they came out on top. It's like when a diplomat, if somebody's very calm, people will hear calmness. They'll hear diplomacy. They'll hear a point of view when there's no passion behind it. But if you're like, well, that's why I could never be a diplomat. I'll be like, you gotta do it. I get too impassioned, So you will be revered and celebrated for how you handle it, or literally because you don't get, roped into something, or roped into an altercation that can end up like this. And this also goes for, personal relationships. This can be lovers, going for the jugular. Because when you love someone, what their Achilles heel is, their buttons. And so, to win something, you might want to push those buttons. This is resisting the urge to push the buttons. So the next card out for you, Libra, is the Magician. So the Magician is saying, look, you have everything you need, and you may not feel it right now. You may not understand. You may be in a place where you feel that you can't have the life you want, or you can't do the things you want to do, and you're never going to attain a certain things, because the Magician comes into a reading to tell you that you don't need anything. You have everything you need. You have everything required to create the life that you desire. And so, this Magician, he has like 4 elements, and he creates something spectacular out of seemingly nothing, right? So he is bringing creativity to the table, and he is seeing things that other people don't see, and he's able to practice and present them in a way that is people are awestruck by his talents. So you have to just, you have everything you need, darling. You don't need anything else. Start looking at how you can create the life that you desire. Start looking at what actions you can take. This is the number 1, right? The Magician is 1, the number 1. This is like starting out. You can do it. And clarifying it is the Strength card. And the Strength card is about kindness and compassion. Your strength is in kindness and compassion. So where you may wish to lash out, be kind and compassionate. Look at this person or these people and try to understand them rather than be understood, right? Sometimes it's better to understand rather than to be understood. So maybe you can have some compassion for someone. And when somebody's angry or they're lashing out at people personally, it's really their hurt that they are putting out onto the world. Hurt people, right? We have to remember that. We have to remember that these people are suffering. And so, they make others suffer, how they don't know how else to be in the world. So we have to have compassion. We have to have courage. This is about courage too. And that's the full moon in Leo, that courage to be who we want to be, do what we really want to do, strive for what we desire. The courage to take the steps, and to be compassionate with ourselves too, not just with others, with ourselves. We need to be compassionate with ourselves. We can beat ourselves up more than anybody else can, verbally, and even physically by overeating or over drinking or partaking in, smoking too much or whatever it is. We're abusing ourselves. So we need to be kind and compassionate to ourselves as well as others. So the next 2 cards out, Libra, are the Three of Swords, and the Four of Swords. It's interesting, right? 3 and 4. So the Three of Swords, this is pain. This is heartache. This is a broken heart that you may have, look, this is a pain that was installed many, many years ago. And it comes up when somebody says something or does something or a situation happens, and it rears its ugly head, and we blame that situation or that person or that behavior, right, for this pain. But really, all that's done is stimulate the pain that's already there within us, right? So when this card comes in, it's asking you to take it in. Take it in, bring it into your heart, cry it out, feel that pain once and for all. And if you can connect the dots and really recognize where this pain originated from, then whoa, you've really kind of knocked it out of the ballpark. Because this isn't a pain that necessarily just disappears one day because you feel it. It's a pain that dulls once you it's not that this pain doesn't come back, because it can, but it's not as potent or as powerful as it was when you before you handled it and addressed it. So address this pain. What is this about? Are you, Eckhart Tolle, he wrote The Power of Now and the New Earth Awakening. He talks about the pain body and how we recreate the pain body, right? The pain body is when we've been hurt as a child, and we create that scenario again and again. We choose the wrong person to be in relationships. We choose unavailable people, or somebody who's going to cheat on us or abandon us. We just do it again and again because the pain body wants to be fed with that pain, right? It relishes and it survives in that pain. And so that pain sometimes becomes familiar to us and almost comfortable. It's almost uncomfortable when that pain goes for some of us, right? So we need to wake up, we need to be aware, and we need to understand that this pain is the pain body crying out for more pain. So we need to starve the pain body. Acknowledge that it's there, but don't feed it anymore. Forget that. Stop fattening that pain body up, darling. Let it move on. And the Four of Swords is the exhaustion from this pain. Just pure exhaustion, just like not taking care of yourself, sleepless nights and not just going and going, and the exhaustion from all this emotion and this pain. So basically, get some sleep, right? It's really basic. The Four of Swords message is a basic message of sleep. Take care of yourself. Get enough sleep, get enough hydrate yourself, eat properly, eat healthy. I call happy food, greens and things that are going to feed, your body. And I call them, it's happy food because it makes your body happy and therefore translates into you being happy at some point, right? So take care of yourself. Do you, right? And clarifying it is the Hierophant. Have faith and trust that everything's going to work out beautifully for you. But really go back to source energy, to God, to the universe, whatever you call your deity, or your faith system, your belief system. Even if you're atheist, do the next right thing, right? Trust in the process of life, that life is full of ups and downs. That's life. Nobody's life just goes like that. That's a deadline. That's not living, right? That's existing. It's like just going along the state. No, life is like this for everyone. Some of us have bigger waves and some of us have smaller waves. But waves nonetheless, right? That's the energy. That's the heartbeat. Boom, boom, boom. This is life. Boom, 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 boom. Go with the flow, darling. Trust and have faith that this is life. This is what it's like. We can't appreciate the highs if we don't have the lows, right? We can't see in the darkness if we don't have light. If we didn't have the darkness, we wouldn't appreciate the light either. So it's just, yin yang, male, female, good, bad, good, evil, whatever. That's life. It's full of opposites. So appreciate life to the fullest and have faith and trust that you are right where you're meant to be. Libra, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and if you haven't already, please subscribe and stay tuned for the Astrology Report coming up next. Mwah! I love you all, and I'll see you on the other side. Hello, I'm really glad you stayed to listen to the Astrology Report and to see what's happening in the celestial sky this week, and what a celestial sky we have. Now, on Monday, February the 3rd, Mercury moves into Pisces. Now, Mercury is the planet of communication, intellect, logic, details, right? Facts. And Pisces is quite the opposite to that. Pisces is like creative and dreamy and romantic and poetic. So Mercury in Pisces is thought to be in detriment, and that means at its weakest power. But what Mercury in Pisces does is it gives insight. So the conversations are more pleasant, and it gives insight into somebody's mood, and you can avoid confrontation, and you can have pleasantries, pleasant conversations, sweet, romantic, almost poetic in nature. So it's a wonderful way of communicating and of seeing into somebody's mood and being able to direct a conversation or ideas around that. And it's kind of visionary too, because you can have brilliant ideas on these daydreams. The thing is it's really, it is not detail oriented. So when Mercury is in Pisces, for me, I can go off on tangents, and I put little alarms on my phone to bring me back into the moment, particularly when I need to take care of things, because you can kind of get lost on social media, lose track of time. It's that kind of energy. Now we move on to Friday, February the 7th, and Venus moves into Aries. Now, Venus has been in Pisces, where it's exalted, where it's the strongest, it can express itself. She can express herself fully, Venus can, right? And think of her in Pisces in this long, flowing chiffon, willowy, romantic gown, right? Blowing in the wind. And then she moves into Aries, and suddenly she's in a rubber red dress and garter belt and stockings and perhaps a whip in her hand. High heels. She's very, aggressive, assertive. She goes after what she wants and she gets it. Venus in Aries is the initiator. So, some of her a male energy comes out and she goes after what she wants. So it's very kind of, think of Mars. It's very kind of sexual, sensual energy. And then on Sunday, February the 8th or 9th, right, depending on where you are, you're going to see this beautiful full moon on the 8th, and it is going to peak at 2:33 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's going to be in the morning, in Europe, and it's going to be earlier, late in the evening in California, on the Pacific Standard Time. So this is a full moon in Leo. Now, full moons are when the moon and the sun are opposite each other, right? So this is, think of, this is about courage. It's about being heart-centered. It's interesting, right? Because the sun is in Aquarius and the moon is in Leo. And at the same time as this beautiful full moon at 20 degrees Leo, it's also right next to a fixed star, which is very kind of Mars-like, and it is trining, the moon is trining Mars. So this brings passion, vigor, energy, sensuality, chemistry. It is, Leo is in the house of romance, fun, excitement, and children and family too. So that you get all this energy and this vigor into these relationships, but it's also about helping others, this moon. Now, I will just say that full moons are always kind of a culmination and a releasing, right? They're whatever you've kind of started, good or bad, in the new moon, then it comes to fruition in the full moon. So sometimes where this full moon lands in your chart depends on which area of life it affects. And that brings me to my Facebook group, guys. It's a private Facebook group. And every 2 weeks, we look at the new moon or the full moon, respectively, and we see where it lands in our charts, right? So I do a live feed in that private Facebook group. The link will be below. Check that out. Now, so this full moon is about helping others, right? It's being heart-centered. It's putting love into the world, and it's about helping others. It's right opposite Aquarius, the humanitarian sign, right? The sun. And the sun is illuminating the moon. That's why it's so full. So we are going to, this full moon is definitely about how can we help? What can we do for society? Where can I use my courage? How can I use my courage? How can I improve or help or contribute to society? Right? Because this is all inclusive and it's heart-centered. It's love, putting love out there into the world. And that's what my Facebook group is about. We are a group of like-minded people, and it's loving, it's supportive, it's very positive, it's lovely. So ask to join. There's a couple of questions you have to ask. I do actually require that you have a profile photograph. I no longer accept people without profile photographs. And it's got to be a real account. I check out the profile, and if it doesn't look real, I won't accept. So, we're about authenticity, right? And that's what this full moon is about, authenticity. It's about being, it's about coming into oneness with everyone. So, when we do that live feed, we'll be looking at what we need to let go. Do we need to let go of friendships? Do we need to let go of relationships? Do we need to let go of jobs, of the apartments, of the areas that we live? What do we need as opposed to what do we want? And this is a question we need to ask ourselves throughout 2020, going forward. We need, Saturn is playing a huge role along with Pluto and Capricorn. We still have all these planets in Capricorn, and it is about frugality, right? It's about no waste. It's about seeing, using what we need and not consuming so much. Consumerism is down. We need to grow personally. We want to expand our awareness and our consciousness into the society at large. We want to focus on our similarities as opposed to our differences. And this is a beautiful full moon in which to connect with people and how we can help others. So, guys, I really appreciate all the likes, shares, comments, and subscriptions. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And I love all the all the comments, both personal and public, are just so inspiring and touching to me. And I need that encouragement just as much as the next person. So I thank you all for that. And another way to help me is through Patreon. This is another way to support my channel and help me grow, help me put out more creative content. I think you can support me as little as $1 a month. It's not a lot for you, but it's huge for me. Imagine if everyone gave me $1. It would be amazing. My equipment is slowly becoming archaic. I could really use some help to replace that. But listen, no pressure. I post things on Patreon that I don't post anywhere else, so it might be worth checking out. Thank you, above all, thank you all for joining me and helping me grow. Mwah. I love you all, and I'll see you next week.